Me, I go tell you a little something more white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I like them, I telling, I see them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. Then come out of the mountains and mix up with seed. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. May I go tell you a little truth about the black history. The people who can hear and those who can see, when the first to come up with anatomy. Now analyze the truth about we body, when the first to come up with biology. Now analyze the lies in the society, when the first to come up with Egyptology. To construct the pyramids that you see, when the first to come up with psychology. To analyze the mind in the vicinity, when the first to come up with musicology. To put the rhythm now your soul and make me rock steady. Here we go, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let we tell the story. Black and white story in the mind. Yes, family. That was me back in the day. That was me. That's right. King Simon was a singer. That song went up to #5 on the charts, people. Oh my goodness, especially here in New York, we were going crazy back in the 89s, late 80s, going into the 90s. I was rocking the clubs heavy, opening up for Shabba, Ice Cube, people like Public Enemy. I was doing it like I was crazy back in those days. I enjoyed every minute of it. So, I'm happy to be back on air, of course, with Stats. You know the deal. Serious Thoughts Awaken Critical Thinking. That's right. Serious Thoughts Awaken Critical Thinking. And that's the name of this program. And we're bringing it black to you again, blacktastically. And we're bringing the information to you again, family. Make sure you share this with other people. I know people are starting to get in and starting to come in. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. I don't know if I should go Instagram for the next few minutes. Let me go Instagram also. So we can keep things popping. Because we have Baba Ashra Kwesi coming up at the 8 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time. We'll be having Baba Kwesi coming up. And we're going to be talking about the importance of keeping our legacy and, of course, what he's going to do on December the 10th. That's right. He will be in New York, December the 10th. And I can't wait to experience our Baba. And, of course, I know you're going to enjoy yourself with our Baba Ashra Kwesi as he come in. I'm going to be Instagram. So I'm going to be on Instagram and Facebook. And, of course, you can look back. Now, if you missed the song, I just played one of my songs. Instagram, I just played one of my original songs that I wrote, copywritten. It is mine. They can't bump me off. And I'll play it one more time for you because those people that are starting to come in and log in, I'll play my song one more time for you momentarily, probably right before we bring on Baba as we start doing our thing. But remember, Ashra Kwesi will be in New York City, Brooklyn, New York on December the 10th. That's right, family, December the 10th. King Simon Productions, we're bringing him live and direct December the 10th at the Black Lady Theater located at 750 Nostrand Avenue. 750 Nostrand Avenue will not be the same after Baba Kwesi come in. Also, he's celebrating his Earth Day. So his Earth Day celebration is coming. Of course, December 12th is his Earth Day celebration. He'll be celebrating 65 years in the rotation of the sun in this particular time. So big up to Baba Ashra Kwesi, who just got off of Brother Rich's show, and he just did Brother Rich. So if you want to find out what Brother Rich asked him, I'm going to add some different questions because not only did he travel with Baba Dr. Ben, one of our ancestors, but he also traveled with the one, the only James Clark, John Henry Clark. He studied under them, and of course, he's kept on doing what he had to do and keep on teaching people and bringing people to Kemet as much as he can. Of course, I got to big up the book. Now, if you're coming out, this is his book. Him and his wife wrote this book and put this book together, African Builders of Civilization. Let me go to Instagram. African Builders of Civilization, a pictorial history of famous personalities from ancient Kemet, of ancient Egypt, so to speak. This is by Ashra and Mary Rod Kwesi, the dual. Dynamic duo, I'll call them, of course. So make sure you share this, family. Remember, my website is kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. WordPress.com. Also, if you want to buy tickets, $24.99 for the tickets right now. If you go to King Simon Productions .eventbrite.com. That's King Simon Productions .eventbrite.com. If you want to see what's going on, you want to get those tickets, I have those tickets available. And remember, if you get there before 3 p.m., I will also have the $25 tickets there, the $24.99 tickets there at the venue. But also, you can get them before Sunday. You can get the tickets before Sunday. All you have to do is go to Black Lady Theater over 750 Nostrand Avenue between Park and Sterling. I think they open like 12 noon every day. Or you can go to Nicholas Brooklyn and Nicholas Harlem. They are open 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. every morning, except on Saturday and Sunday. I think they open at 12, 11 or 12 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. But let me give you the numbers too. Let me give you the numbers. Okay. Numbers to Nicholas Brooklyn is 718-858-4400. That's 718-858-4400. And Nicholas Brooklyn is 212-289-3628. That's 212-289-3628. And Black Lady Theater is 718-771-0900. That's 771-0900. Baba Ashra Kwesi will be up with me. And don't forget, he just did Brother Richard's show, so you can go to Black Magic 363. He's doing my show today, and he's doing Brother Tad and Keisha and Brother Ashe's show tomorrow. So make sure you tune in to Straight Black Talk. Big up to Tad. He's up here. What's up, Tad? Big up to you, sir. Thank you very much for accommodating Baba Kwesi. And I know to see you there on Sunday. And remember, doors open at 3 p.m. The event starts at 4 o'clock, and we go all the way to like 8:30. I know he's going to do a question and answer also. So if you got your questions about ancient Kemet and walking into the actual book, which he calls the living book, as he walked into Kemet, pay attention to what Baba Kwesi is saying. They're trying to desecrate the tombs. They're trying to take away all of our history and then redo it and make it Caucasian and all kinds of craziness. So they're doing a lot over there. They're doing a lot over there, and we have to be mindful. Also, I want to big up a few other things. If you want to be a part of my class coming up, my class is coming up on numerology. Numbers are simple. People are complicated. Please, if you want the early bird sales for my class or early bird tickets for my class, please go to KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com. That's KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com. It's a 4-week class on numerology and understanding numerology, showing how people are complicated, but numbers are simple. It's only $4.99. I mean, not $4.99. $149.99 for $149.99, approximately $150 for 4 weeks. As you have to pay for this. This is a special early bird rate. So if you want to be in the building, I'm going to do chalkboard and I'm going to do PowerPoint. So I'm going to be switching it up every week for the 4 weeks, chalkboard and PowerPoint. Usually with PowerPoint, you want to put the impact in, but the chalkboard, I want to have fun and be able to deal with people and show things and be able to write and break it all down. And it will be legible. I'm practicing my handwriting on my chalkboard. So it's going to be fun. The regular rate is $199.99, which is $200. Which is only 10 people allowed in the class. So make sure you go and sign up right now or text me at 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And you can pay me by paypal.me/King Simon, or you can go to PayPal, King Simon Productions, at gmail.com, or text me for further information, 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Yes, I am doing an online class, as people have been asking me to do my own online classes. And believe me, we're going to deal with it. We're going to deal. Also, I have a special presentation coming up in June of 2018, and we're dealing with the trauma and healing powers of numbers. We're going to touch on that and deal with that. That's going to be a whole hour to an hour and a half, 2-hour presentation online. It's going to be PowerPoint, but also I'm going to interrupt and get in between certain things and deal with some serious things, dealing with my own family, dealing with friends that I've known, and the things that people have gone through and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have a good time, because I've learned numerology, yes, from my teacher Lloyd Strayhorn, and of course studying and reading and all that, and then intuitively downloading things to write my book and all that kind of stuff. But I learned by observing people and observing entertainers and observing what they go through and what they did go through, their past, or people that have died in the past. I've studied Einstein's numbers. I've studied people like Nikolai Tesla's number. I've studied people like, of course, Rick James' number. I've studied Bob Marley's number. Even the whole situation with Bob Marley being in his number 9 year, dying in the month of his challenge month, which was May, going through all of that. I've studied all of that too. So it's really interesting how things can happen. And now that this so-called agent is revealed that he helped to kill Bob Marley, or was once to send out to kill Bob Marley, it gets even deeper. You know what I'm saying? So numbers are simple. People are complicated, but numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. Please share this, share this, share this. People that's on Instagram, big up to you all the time. Thank y'all. Go to my Facebook. I will be on with Ashra Kwesi at 8 p.m. It is now 7:51 in New York City, or on the East Coast, 7:51. I believe, okay, it should be like 5:52 over there, or 4:52 over on the West Coast. But let me big up some stuff that's coming up also. This coming Saturday, family, our great Baba and his beautiful Empress, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and his wife will be celebrating 53 years at the National Black Theater. I believe it starts between 3 and 4 o'clock. So if you want to go down there and celebrate with him, I know a lot of great dignitaries are coming to show their love for the 53 years of marriage, the 53 years of complimenting each other, the 53 years of love. Some of us wish we can live to 5 years. I wish I survived 5 years, and I know I can. One day I will. One day I will. When I do find that Empress, I will definitely last for that 50 some odd years at least. But it's very important is that we find those compliments, and we unite with those compliments, and then we grow old with those compliments, and make sure we have a legacy to leave for the compliments and the children. Very important. I'm sorry that I got this late. I was running around doing all the dirt and the craziness, club life, chasing down entertainment and all that kind of craziness. And it happens. It happens to the best of us. I'm no angel. You are no angel out there. Y'all are no angels over there in Instagram land. There's no angels out here. But we here got to learn to be our very best that we can be. And that's why I use numerologics or numerology to help guide me and help me put myself on my GPS, put myself in the mode that I'm supposed to be. Whether I go down the negative road or the positive road or the high frequency road or the low frequency road, that's totally up to me, family. And that's where our willpower kicks in to allow the negative or the low frequency to pick up and carry us away. But we have to learn to let the higher frequency of our existence carry us into our godhood and who we are. Because it says, ye are gods, children of the Most High. We are the gods in our own universe. So we need to work this magic. We need to work this magic. So Dr. Jeffries and Rosalind Jeffries will be celebrating at their 53-year anniversary of love at the National Black Theater over there on Harlem on 125th Street between 125th Street and 5th Avenue. So make sure you go over there. Also, Brother John will be my brother John will be there in the Brownsville, doing a African relationship with Sister Keisha, Brother Sankofa, Daydream Alston, and Brother Yomi. They will be over there at Mother Gaskin. That's 581 Mother Gaskin. That's the second floor. Make sure you go and support Brother John. The whole African relationship with Sister Keisha will be speaking, Brother Sankofa, Daydream Alston, and Brother Yomi. They will be speaking over there also. And then Go Raw New York, tribute to Dr. Sabi, is also happening on Saturday. And that's going to be a great tribute from 2 to 8 p.m. at the National Black Theater also, because remember, the National Black Theater has multiple theaters in it, multiple spaces that you can rent out. So you can go over to the National Black Theater. They're doing a tribute to Dr. Sabi that day. And also, Dr. Jeffries and his wife is celebrating 53 years. So you can bounce between those, because they're going to have a lot of vendors with vending food and all types of presentations as far as food presentation. I know Ali the Great is supposed to be there, and also Ali the Great will be providing food for us at the Black Lady Theater. So that's going to be a great thing. And I'm going to play my song one time before we go to Baba Ashra Kwesi. I'm going to play it probably 2 minutes before Ashra Kwesi come in. So there's a lot of great things happening this weekend, family. So pay attention. Make sure you go on out and celebrate our brothers and sisters that are doing their thing. Of course, Sunday, we will be in Brooklyn at the Black Lady Theater. The Black Lady Theater used to be called Slave 2. It has been renovated, has been reopened. It's still Black owned, and we're doing wonderful work over there. Now, this will be my last lecture in New York City until probably January or February or March. I'm trying to contemplate. I'm thinking about doing something with the the people of Vax. So we can understand why vaccines are dangerous. Curtis Cause. I might have Robert Kennedy. Yes, I might have some white boys at this one. I might have what's his face? The one from BAI. What's his face? Gary Knoll. I'm gonna have the producer of Vax. So I'm working on that right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I might do it in February. So look out for that. That's going to be a big, big thing because a lot of people are still going to get these vaccines. A lot of people are still going to get these vaccines. And we're trying to help guide you to understand why you need to be careful of the vaccines that you're taking and to avoid it. So it's up to you. You can go for vaccine exemption. Brother Baba Phil Valentine, he does that. You can go to his website at uksnow.org. That's uksnow.org to check out Baba Phil Valentine and his vaccine exemption packages that he does have. And it has worked because I've used it back in the 90s and for my children, and that was a good thing. So I'm telling you, family, got a lot of stuff coming up this weekend. So make sure you choose well and go. Like I said, National Black Theater has 2 functions going on. And then at the Black Lady Theater, we will be there on Sunday, and also my brother John is going to be in Brownsville. Never ran, never will. 581 Mother Gaston on the 2nd floor, and they're going to be celebrating African relationship and love and all that good stuff. We need all of that. And matter of fact, on Saturday is Monique's birthday. Monique from Nicholas is celebrating her birthday on Saturday. So that should be fun. I wonder what she's doing. I don't know if she's going out. I don't know what she's doing, boy. But I got to big her up all the time. Monique is doing her thing. And I'm going to have a great time with Baba. I'm going to go with the brother, Dr. Jeffries, and of course, our beloved elders. I gotta support them. You gotta support the elders all the time. It's very important that we do that. Supporting the elders is very important. So it is now 58 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we're going to go ahead and play my song one more time because a lot of y'all never heard that I did songs like this. This is Black and White Story by King Simon, or AKA Anthony B or Anthony Brown. That's right, me back in the day had a good time. I used to perform a lot, people. I used to perform very heavy. So big up to people like Clinton Lindsay, and big up to people like Clive Hudson that helped produce that. And this is a song that went up to number 3 or 5 on the chart. I think number 5 on the chart. So big up to this song, and I'm going to play it, and then we're going to call our Baba. I'm going to have to get off Instagram, but Instagram, listen to this. All right?
I will tell you a little something more white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them a telling, I feed them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come up at the mountains and mix up with seed. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. May I will tell you a little truth about the black history. The people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy. Analyze the truth about the way body. We're the first to come up with biology. Analyze the lives in the society. We're the first to come up with Egyptology. To construct the pyramid that you see. We're the first to come up with mythology. To analyze the mind in the vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology. To put the rhythm down your soul and make me rock steady. Erection, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let me tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let me
That's right. That was me back in the day, family. That was me back in the day. Instagram, I got to go because I got to use my phone to call my brother, Ashra Kwesi. But if you want to get any of this, if you can't go to my Facebook, you can't come on my Facebook, King Simon on Facebook or MC Simon on Facebook. I will be uploading the interview with Baba Kwesi on my YouTube. That's King Simon Presents. That's King Simon Presents. King Simon Presents. That's right. So I'm out of here, Instagram, but Facebook, I'm going to be still on here. So it is what it is. Peace. Let me go to the phone line and call the Baba. Let me see here. Let me see.
Kwesi here.
Baba Kwesi, how are you, sir?
Hotep.
Hotep, Hotep, Hotep. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, brother. I rose like raw to live again. So as long as you can do that, you can move forward.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why, but my voice is coming back to me.
It's all right. It's just a brief echo because I'm on a speakerphone so people can hear you. You know, I have to be
see.
All right, but
okay.
just take over. Just relax. I got you. I got you, my brother.
Okay.
First and foremost, I want to welcome you to my show for the first time. We haven't done that. I know you've been on Abundance Child Show. You was on Brother Rich Show. You've been on various other shows that I've put you on, of course, doing various lectures with you. So I'm so honored to have you on my Facebook Live, and we're going live across the planet right now, sir. So I'm happy. Thank you.
Great. Well, it's an honor to be on your show, Brother Simon.
Well,
Education for Liberation. So this is a true community.
That's right. Education for Liberation. Also, I got the book that I bought from you some years ago called African Builders of Civilization, a pictorial history of famous personalities from ancient Egypt or Kemet by you and your beloved Empress, the one, the only Ashra Kwesi. Now, tell us about this book and you putting this book together. Why did you put this book together, sir?
My wife and I, we got together to put that book together. Generally, when we start to talk about history, especially our history, most people associate it with biblical characters. Okay, most of them are mythical characters and question whether they even lived or not. And especially when you're dealing with allegory and mythology, you definitely got a question. So, for instance, I may lecture on African history all day long, and then someone will ask about Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Okay, as though that's a real story. And then asked about many other biblical personalities that people got a question that they even lived or not. We know the stories of Abraham and Moses and Joseph and on and on and on. But when it comes to real personalities, that we got evidence and we got the monuments and temples, and especially the greatest colossals on the planet Earth right there on the African continent, right there in the land of Kemet, the original Taneta land, and Taneta means the original Holy Land before there was any other Holy Land on the planet. Mm-hmm. This is the first recorded Holy Land. There, our ancestors built monuments to these great Nesus, or great kings, mm-hmm. who are real people. So when we opened the book up, you have with Norma, here's an African who started the world's first nation state, okay? Just long before some United States. So Greek and Rome was not a nation state, Mesopotamia was not a nation state. But Norma, this African who started the world's first nation state and built the first capital. So all these personalities are in there. They're telling of real people. And some of my favorite has been Keperai's 3 Mays of the 18th dynasty, that golden age, who had 17 battles and won them all. And then, of course, one of the great builders of ancient Kemet, Ursema Adras, the second Robert Mesomariaman of the 19th dynasty, who lived around 1298 to 1232 BCE. So we saw the importance of our people should know about these real personalities. They're not myths, okay? It's not used to be. The monuments, temples, and the colossus they built are there. So that was the importance of us putting that together. We did not see a book out there dealing with these great African builders, civilization before the Western world. There was no Greece yet, there was no Rome yet. None of these places exist. When these Africans spoke that, and above all, we can see who they are.
Right.
We can clearly see that they're Africans. You can see that they look like family members and people that we know. As you got the book in your hand, you can weave through it and might even see yourself in there, Brother King Simon.
Exactly.
So again, that was the importance. Like one young man who went to Kemet with us, his father brought him there, and he was so excited about the tour that he came back. He was in the 7th grade and told his teacher, who was a white female, that he went to Africa. And she said, where in Africa? He said, Egypt. And she said, Egypt is not in Africa. He had that book that you have. We wrote it so it could be for adults and students. So he brought the book up to her desk and said, well, this is the continent of Africa, and this is Egypt. Don't you see this is the continent of Africa? And then she also said, and he said, I went to see my great ancestors, the African builders of Egypt. And she said, well, the Egyptians were not black. And he said, well, here's my book, and here are the builders. And she picked up the book and started to look at the phenotypes and clearly seeing that these were Africans. And she closed the book and dropped it on the desk and didn't want to talk about it anymore. So that's the power of bringing out real personalities. And that's the fear of ancient Kemet that our ancestors called it. That means black. That the Greeks called it Egypticus. Thus we get the name Egypt. Right. But there we can see that without Kemet, what we know in the Western world, Western civilization, Western religions, would not exist. This is the fallopian tube. And when I speak of the fallopian tube, I'm speaking of the Nile, the longest river in the world, 4,000, approximately 200 miles in the Nile. And King Simon, when they talk about anthropology validating that Africa gave birth to humanity, they still, now that science proves that, but they still don't want to relate to the fact that civilization started in Africa and spread throughout the world. Religion or African spirituality started in Africa. They're formulated into Western terms like religion, all started in Africa. They want to keep it to anthropology, but they don't want to give it recognition to civilization and spirituality that is now called religion today. So that's the importance of putting that book together, my brother.
Well, brother, thank you very much, Baba. If those that are just tuning in, I'm speaking to Baba Ashra Kwesi, who will be in New York City December the 10th, 2 days before his Earth Day, man. So we're going to have a good time. I
bet the time work, brother. When you're doing this kind of work, brother, you don't even see the time coming. I didn't even know I was turning gray until I was editing a tape one day.
I totally get it, brother. Because I'm turning gray on my chin, and I'm like, wait a minute, how's this going on? What's happening here?
Right, but the spirit always stays young as long as you keep the information and keep the spirit. Your spirit stays young.
But and I'm glad you said that, because I know that you're an adamant runner too. You like to work out and exercise. Tell the people the importance, especially as an elder of your stature, and especially as you're going into what we call age, but really you're as young as you think you are. Tell them why it's important that a lot of our elders didn't work out. A lot of our elders didn't take care of themselves. A lot of our elders didn't eat right, brother. And we got to admit this. And I know you know some of them from back in the day. So why is it important?
Well, we come in different generations.
Yes, sir.
And of course, I have to give recognition to my teacher,
yes, sir.
Dr. Joseph Nyaka, and the reflex you know as Dr. Ben.
Yes, sir.
And of course, keep in mind that these were grand master teachers.
Yes, sir.
And I learned a lot from them. In fact, Dr. John Henry Clark, I met him on Dr. Ben's tour in 1981. So I was sitting at the feet of the Grand Master teachers. And again, I saw how some of our elders ate. And keep in mind, I'm coming through the generation where we are more conscious of food now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're more conscious of health. That's not to say that they weren't, but in some cases, they come out of that old generation. And, Dr. Ben, many times lecturing with him, and many times bringing him out to LA, time living there. And Dr. Ben, first thing he would want to order is some ham hocks. So I said, Doc, the ham hocks, and so he said, well, I like my ham hocks. I like to eat ham hocks. And he prided himself on eating pig. So I put Dr. Ben to the test. I said, well, Dr. Ben, you're not a real pig eater until you eat some chitlins. He shook his head. No, I can't eat no chitlins. I said, well, you're not a real pig eater then. I said, you haven't been initiated. I said, my family come out of the generation where they ate chitlins. Okay.
Wow.
So when he would talk about how much he liked pork chops and how he wanted to show people that he was into the ancient African Kemetic knowledge, and that I guess that was his rebelling of, because he grew up a Hebrew, but Israel, he's from Ethiopia, Gondar, his family.
Right.
So, but when I put the chitlins on Doc, he couldn't deal with the chitlins. But again, I mean, I grew up, my family, we grew up, eating chitlins. It's left over. That's the culture is left over from the plantation.
Yes, sir.
And all that type of food. And when I left home, and I left for about maybe 4.5 years, and came back and told my mother I don't eat that kind of food. And she thought something was wrong with me. But of course, you go out in the world, and you're either going to survive out there, eat to live or eat to die.
That's right. So
I went out in the world to live. So of course, I started to learn a lot of things about food and health and taking care of myself. Being out, because I left home at a very early age. About 19 years old. So of course, California was one of those health places anyway. You had a lot of health conscious people out there.
Right.
That helped me on my journey.
That's right.
And even to this day, exercising, when I don't get exercise in, if 2 days go by, I feel it.
Right.
I got to do my 100 push-ups a day. That's 35, 35, and 30. And I get my, I jogged a lot when I was very young. So I do a lot of, I don't jog as much now because I jogged so much in the early days on concrete that it affected my knees. But, so I don't jog as much now, but I still walk a lot. And my favorite exercise was swimming itself. I lap swimmer. So that's what I love to do a lot as well. But health is very important. My mentor Hemp, that Kemetic word for divine wife, she keeps me alive. She cooks vegetarian meals, and so I haven't eaten red meat in about 40 years. So I'm on top of it.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Those that are just tuning in, that was Baba Kwesi breaking down about health and eating right and all that. It's 12 minutes after the hour. Baba, a lot of people, I've read people like Muwata Ashby's book as far as health coming out of Kemet and all the things that was written.
Great work he put together.
Great work he put on. I have a lot of his books and a lot of the stuff that, of course, a lot of things that was written on the walls. I remember that even Dr. John Henry Clark would say that Kemet, if you had a pimple on your backside, Kemet would write about it. That's what he said one time.
Right.
So, now what are they trying to do to the walls now? Are they trying to desecrate our tomb and remove and put European figures on there right now? What are they trying to do to the walls over there in Kemet? Because you go there.
Well, I made my journey to Kemet in 1981 for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I met Dr. Ben at Long Beach State in 1973. I always tell the story. At that time in the Black Power movement, the political movement in LA at that time. And many of our comrades, who were the Gestapo beast shooting us down, the LAPD shooting us down in the street. And I found ourselves ended up in the church with warriors with a Serapis Jesus over them. And I knew something was wrong. And even though we were in the political conscious movement of Black Power, but at the same time, our history and our divinity was not there. And Dr. Ben came to Long Beach State, and he gave a lecture on history. And that's the first time I heard history and Black divinity and contact the whole spiritual connection to our Black divinity. And I asked Dr. Ben after the lecture, can you prove what you said here today? He said, young man, I can take you back and show you. I can take you back to Africa and show you. But above all, we need young people like you to go back and do the field research. And he walked away. So actually, that started my dream at that point to return back to Africa. And I made that journey in 1981, not knowing it would be the rest of my life. Now, 36 years nonstop, returning back to Africa, and 14 years doing field research with him. And there, over the years, yes, I have witnessed where I take brothers and sisters to Ipit Rasut. This is clearly, you can see this. I've seen many things over the years, defacement of many of the African colossals there, especially when you see the various phenotypes. Let me say also, as Dr. Ben has always said, that there's no one prototype that defines an African facial characteristic.
Right.
That we have all types of facial characteristics: wide nose, thin nose, thick lips, and thin lips. But the ones that got wide nose and thick lips, they've systematically, in many cases, have knocked them off. That I actually take groups in the back room of the Cairo Museum to see Amenemhet III. You got the book there, my brother.
Yes, sir.
So you go to the Amenemhet III. He's of the 12th dynasty of the Middle Kingdom. You see him there with locks in your book, since you had the book there. Well, they moved him all the way in the back room of the Cairo Museum so people could not see him. Wow. And clearly, they knocked off his nose as well. Yes. There are other defacements in the back of the temple of Ipit Rasut. That is now called Luxor today. It's in the city of Luxor, and the temple is called Luxor, but the ancient name was called Ipit Rasut. And there it was dedicated to the spiritual Neterhemp, wife of Amen. But all the way in the back, the Byzantine Romans came in. And I always show this in many of my lectures, where they covered up Amenhotep III. He's also in your book as well. Nehemiah Adra Amenhotep III of the 18th dynasty. And that's the importance of putting these great Nisu kings in the books, as well as we got the queens as well. But there you can see where the Byzantine Romans literally plastered over Amenhotep III. Now the question, this was 2,000 years ago when they did this, as well as building a basilica over top of his birthing colonnade. Now, what's important about this site here is that why are they covering him up? The whole idea of the holy birth is something that's up and down the now. And one of the first and earliest holy births that our ancestors told is in the spiritual mother and father, the holy family of Asar, Astet, and Haru. That's the foundation of ancient Kemet, who the Greeks referred to as Osiris, Isis, and Horus. But here we see the earliest virgin birth and immaculate conception, where Aset gave a holy birth. This is the foundation of the holy birth, who she is the Theotokos, or Mother of God. And it's down through the ages and down through the millenniums, coming up in the ancient Kemet, every king had to be born of a virgin birth. It goes all the way back to Kemet, showing that the Holy Mother, there was no misogyny in ancient Kemet, there was no misogyny in Africa, period. That's all coming out of the Western world. In fact, Michael Bradley told us that in prehistoric sources of Western racism, sexism, aggression.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, Trump epitomizes all of that.
Yes, he does.
But I don't want to get off topic here. But again, here, so Amenhotep III of the 18th dynasty, we're talking about over 3,000 years ago. Here he is born of a virgin birth from his mother, Matmuia. And it's still carved there of his virgin birth. So when you see the Romans, the Byzantine Romans, okay, the establishment of Western version of Christianity by Theodosius in 380 AD. This is the formulation of the Western version of Christianity. The fear is that Kemet and the books in stone are documenting the various things that they were creating in the dogma of their religion, where they were literally plagiarizing these concepts from the ancient temples of Kemet. That's what makes the temple so powerful. That's why there are the books in stone. And Amenhotep III tells the story right there on his birthing colonnade as well, where the Romans tried to cover him up, where Amen, here's the spiritual deity, the spiritual god of Kemet at this time in the Middle Kingdom. It comes to his mother, Matmuia, an array of light, and saying she's going to have a holy child. First, by the way, coming through Thutmose, a main apparatus that he made, the fourth, just saying that his wife is going to have a holy child. Okay, and that would be the son of Amen. So Amenhotep III becomes the son of Amen. And the very first story, as I said, goes all the way back to the beginning of the Nile Valley history, which is over 10,000 years ago with Asar, Set, and Haru. And here we see the same story where Tahuti, the spiritual knitter, okay, some people may not know these names, some may, but that would be equivalent to angel today, comes to a Set and says a Set's going to have a holy child. First coming to Asar, though. But he's the one who gives the call that a Set's going to have a holy child. Now, wait a minute. Now, here we are in the month of December, and here, the Western version of Christianity, we are told that Gabriel, the angel of the Lord, appears to Mary in the back room. And she's shocked. Oh, who are you? I'm Gabriel, the angel of the Lord. To let you know you're going to have a holy child, and it's not going to be Joseph's son. So here we see that now what the story is told in Kemet, that the Tahuti tells us that if she's going to have a holy child, now it becomes Gabriel tells Mary that she's going to have a holy child.
Right.
So, and he appears in the back room, by the way, in like the bedroom. Okay.
Right.
And she's got to go and tell Joseph that it's not his child.
Exactly.
So that was literally plagiarized.
Of course.
The question we got to ask, where is the early part of Christianity? Where is its beginning? Its beginning is in Egypt. Now, why is it in Egypt? This is where the early Greek first came in, and then eventually Alexander comes in, that we're taught to call the Great, Alexander the Barbarian. There's nothing great about the plunder that he did to Africa and right there in Kemet. he commissioned Aristotle to plunder the temples of Kemet. After his death, the generals took over, the Ptolemies, and they started to copy these stories on these papyruses that our ancestors wrote and all these temples up and down the Nile. But fortunately, even though they robbed these papyruses, and many of them are in the cellar of the Vatican now, but fortunately they carved on the temple walls. So you see a set, you see the Virgin Mother, you see that story there. In fact, prior to after the Greeks, okay, when the Romans took over, prior to the Byzantine Romans, Christians coming in, and before the fall of the Roman Empire, they worshipped a set. They carried her throughout their empire, okay, known as the Herculean worship of the goddess of Set. They carried her to Gaul within France today. They carried her to the Germanic tribes. So when you go to France today, and you go into the Notre Dame, and see that the church and the architectural structure of that church is designed exactly to that of a Set right there in Kemet, to show that even the Western architectural church is copied off of ancient Kemet. And even to this day, the priests in the Notre Dame carry an ark out of that church in a procession, and it's the Black Madonna. That Black Madonna is a leftover from Kemet that they call her Mary today, even though she's black. Because she's black, this is left over from Kemet. It was a Set. You see her in other parts of Europe as the Black Madonna. That's who the Black Madonna is, a Set. And this has been their secret. This has been their biggest fear, that this will be revealed, the fact that their whole foundation of their Western religion is based off of the ancient spiritual stories of ancient Kemet. One account after the other, we can see how they formulated the Western version of Christianity from the things that they plundered and the papyruses, where, by the way, the paper came from, the name papyrus, the early Bibles, all were written in Egypt. They weren't written in Europe. It's a Septuagint version of the Bible, written in Egypt. So when you get the name Mary, how do we get that name Mary? Well, we have to look at the Medu-Neter name Mori. It means love. They literally took that from ancient Kemet. And who they called love was the surrogate mother of Haru. And the surrogate mother is Het Haru, who was love, Murray. They took from, and her zoop type was a cow. They didn't worship the cow, but their zoop type was the cow. So the question we got to ask, why is the cow in the manger? Is that animal worship? Or is that a corruption of ancient Kemet and Het Haru? Even when we look at this cosmological time period of the winter solstice, our ancestors saw that Haru was born precisely at December the 25th. Here he was born of a virgin. They looked at the cosmos to tell this story. What did the cosmos have to do with this? Okay, anybody born in September, what zodiac sign would they be?
September would be Virgo, the Virgin.
Would be Virgo, right. So now what happens in Virgo? We see the sun starts to descend. It starts to get darker. So they saw that the sun was born of a virgin. But December the 25th, or December the 21st, as it goes into the winter solstice, our ancestors saw that this was the time that the sun, that they called Ra, would be born precisely at December the 25th. How they could tell is because the heliacal rising of a star called Sibyl Sipta, that the Romans called Ceres and the Greeks called Sotis, would rise to tell them that the sun was going to come back. And what our ancestors did was personified the holy child Haru, who was born from his mother Aset. So Aset becomes the virgin. Haru is personified as sun at December the 25th with the heliacal rising of that star. So when you go to the Yuletide that literally means the birth of the sun. And we see these white anthropomorphic or European white images, and we got, our people were brainwashed into white idolatry, when in fact it was a cosmological event. That's why you always see the European white female Mary with the sun behind her head. Correct?
Yes, sir.
You also see the European Jesus always with the sun behind his head, even as the little baby in the manger. This, I call him the Serapis Jesus, because they created this Jesus at the Conference of Nicene in 325 AD, when they were corrupting ancient African spirituality and formulating it into white idolatry, or for the worship of white images. And that's where we've been ever since. So Here they took that same idea. When you look at it, our people were brainwashed. Black people were brainwashed to be looking at this as though it was real. That this is the Son of God, born at December the 25th, and the Holy Mary, when in fact it's a cosmological event. We couldn't see it because we were brainwashed to look at white folks. But when I show and do the comparison of the cosmos and the Yuletide, the many years audience gasp over this when I show the comparisons, when in fact they just use white images to represent Mary as a Virgo and a white baby to represent the sun at December the 25th, and that star in the east is Sybil Septa that represented the rising of the sun. And the sad thing is, down in Dallas, I know back in New York, you don't have a lot of yards up there. Okay, it's concrete up there. But down here, there's a lot of yards. That people got yards. And it's sad to see all these black folks who pulled all these plastic white babies out their closets.
Right.
And they got a white mother female and a white male, and one brother, I'm in his yard, and I just had to talk to him because he's standing there with his son in his arms, and I said, brother, what are you doing? I'm teaching my son that this is the Son of God, and he points down to this plastic white thing that he took out of his closet. And I said, come on, brother, don't tell me that. Your son is the Son of God.
Exactly.
He told me that's heresy. I dare you to call my son the Son of God.
Wow.
This is what it's called, King Simon, this is what it's called spiritual enslavement.
Yes, sir.
Spiritual enslavement is when the enemy became the deity in the spiritual subconscious of our mind. And this is the epitome of white supremacy Christianity.
Yes.
For this Negro to be in his yard and telling his baby that this plastic thing that he got out his yard is the Son of God, and that's the Holy Mother and the Holy Father.
Yes, sir.
And so we wonder what's wrong with our people growing up in white idolatry and worshiping an image that we are told at a very early age that this is the Son of God.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I dedicated my life.
Yes, sir.
And no matter what, that this lecture, that I'm coming there to your program,
Yes, sir.
that we will always show this because we have got to free our people.
Right.
We've got to get our people out of the brainwashing of idolatry and the temples and the books in stone. There we show a comparative analytical analysis. I don't come for people to believe me, brother, what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just to think about what I'm saying, to show that we are a stolen people.
Yes,
Through to my offer of kidnapping us from the African continent, an intelligent question to be asked, what else has been stolen? And that's what we have to look at. And that's why Kemet, that is called Egypt by the Greeks, that's why it's been so feared by the church. The church, the Western churches always feared Egypt. Why? Because Kemet got the ancient knowledge. It's got the books in stone. There's nothing like it on the planet Earth. You don't have monuments and temples as old as what you see. This is the original Taneta land, the original Holy Land. And the monuments and the temples are there to validate where all these stories, Western civilization, Western religions, all plagiarized from the books in stone. And we're going to deal with this step by step. These temples were there thousands of years before I was born, and they'll be there thousands of years after I'm gone. So I'm coming for people to see it, to go through the release, do the comparisons, to show the Western Christianity and ideas from one temple after the other.
Right.
And then we have to question whether we should be caught up into trampling each other down in the stores.
Yes, sir.
Trying to pick up the gross national product. It's like Las Vegas out there with bells and whistles, everything to take your money. But the worst part, brainwashing you that this is the Son of, and telling us that this is the Son of God. Can you imagine?
Yes, sir. Bob.
Okay, that the 25th of December, everything stopped to worship a black baby, brother. Can you imagine that?
No, brother.
Yeah, so that's just tough within itself. But the whole world's going to stop on December the 25th and worship a little white baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, Baba, this is Baba Ashra Kwesi. It is 29 minutes after the hour. Of course, he's coming to town December the 10th. He's speaking Sunday, December 10th. Doors open at 3 p.m. The event starts at 4. You want to be there because he's going to do his PowerPoint presentation, and he's going to do a question and answer after the break. So if you have any question when you come, Please bring your questions in regards to not only his presentation, but in regards to how can we all come together and either save Kemet or help push this enlightened information into the children, because this is a question, and this is leading into the question, Baba, because none of the schools, as you just exclaimed about the child who took the book back to the school, that we are not getting this information in the school, and these young children nowadays are really open to what you have to offer, what Dr. Ben has have to offer, what a lot of the great scholars of our past have to offer, and you're like one of the last of the Mohicans in this day and time, alongside Kaba Hiawatha and Professor Smalls and Jeffries. Y'all are like the last of it right now. And
yeah, I'm feeling real lonely out here too, brother.
It's becoming real lonely, and we need a lot of these young people.
A lot of the great warriors, especially the elder warriors,
yes, sir.
Made their transition, and they're the ones who we studied under. They're the ones that we looked at and followed. At least a moral code before the social network and Facebook and YouTube was out there, where now everything is just going buck wild.
Now, let me ask you something. Now that our children are used to this YouTube and all this stuff, we gotta be able to throw information out there so they can get it. If that's what they are, we gotta meet them where they at. What do you think about that?
That's true, my brother. See, the enemy is working all the time. You have to always take that in consideration, and they know that we're in the information age. So what they do, they make it convoluted. So again, if you don't know your story, you can't distinguish between what's real and what's unreal.
Right.
See, that's the unfortunate thing when you're looking at this technology and you're looking at all this stuff. One can go onto YouTube. But if you know what you're looking for, and you can distinguish between the real and the unreal, the right and the wrong, you can find it. But you got a young person coming on that technology, they don't know anything about themselves, then they become even more lost in some cases before they even got on there, because the thing is so mad to get you caught up in something else, when the real information, the serious information of liberation, a lot of times, just bypassed because of so much else on there. So they know how to work it. They make it convoluted.
Right.
So that's the main. But but we have to keep on moving forward. We got to keep putting the information out there the best we can. Right. And as people and young people mature more and more, I came out of the age of the communiversities. Okay, I came out of the age. I mean, we go all the way back to the slide projectors.
Exactly, acetate and all that.
There wasn't any PowerPoint, machine gun images shooting at you, so we came out of that age, in fact, even before that, the transparencies. But it wasn't, and the real reality, brother King Simon, is that there wasn't much difference. It's just that there's more out there now, because again, we all have to, when you're seeking for the knowledge, then you can find the knowledge.
No.
But of course, and sometimes the knowledge will fall right in our lap accidentally, and then we can become conscious that way. But above all, I can say what you're doing is the product of the communiversity of yesterday.
Yes, sir.
What you're doing up there now, and what you've been doing over the years. Yes. I'm a product of the communiversity. If it was not for the communiversity, I may not be doing what I'm doing today. Back in LA, and many of the speakers coming in, the grandmaster teachers, and peace be upon them, are elders now. So that's what we hope, that what you're doing, that there'll be young people that will come out that will help them.
Yes, sir. And as a matter of fact, Baba, young people are free from the age of 17 years and younger. So they can I try to do that because I got this information at 14 myself. So I really try to promote that the young people must come out, that everyone out there should bring a young person, 17 years and younger. They are free.
We want to evoke peace be upon him, as Dr. Richard King would say, the ancestral genetic memory bank.
Yes, sir, the ancestral genetic memory bank. And Baba, I'm so happy to be bringing you, and I do want to do something with you and your wife one time, because I did it before with you and your wife, and I know she's good at teaching what she teaches.
That's the balance.
Yes, the balance, and but I'm glad she's still coming anyway, because a lot of people be rolling by themselves when it's very important to have the balance. I only see.
She got to come with me now. She got to help me out now, brother, because I try to keep that stress at a low level now.
Exactly, because even Dr. Africa brings his wife, and that's very important. And
right.
The last event I had Dr. Phil Valentine mine brought his wife, and it's good that within this year, all of y'all have just been coming with your wives, and that's what we need, because after what's going on out there, what they're trying to convert our children to become, and please specify that they did not promote homosexuality in Kemet. Please.
Well, again, this is a weapon of mass destruction. Okay,
yes,
this
sir.
is what they're using as a weapon of mass destruction. Everything was based off of a spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. You can't see a colossal in Kemet with two men up there together or two women up there together.
Exactly.
You see the king, and you see as the Neter Hedge, divine husband, and you see the queen as the Neter Hemp, divine wife, as well as even in the spiritual realm, our ancestors did not conceive of a god without a goddess. If the Western world could not relate to the goddess, well, our ancestors said, for there to be a god, it must be a goddess, and for there to be a goddess, there must be a god. Right. So I've been asking the question for many years. In the Bible, where it says, let us make man in our own image. What happened was a marital dispute, and they kicked the goddess out. Okay, that's a whole other story within itself. But again, when the homosexuality that came into Kemet came in by the Greeks, they were in Kemet for 300 years. Now, keep in mind that the priests, the curry-haired priests, originally did not let the Greeks come in because of their strange ways. Right. And that was some of their strange ways, because they had a serious case of phagocytis. So our ancestors did not let them in. Right. That's what so now everybody's trying to justify this decadent behavior when we see that that was based off of a spiritual dialectical laws of opposites. And even if we go to one of the Greeks, I can't try to think of his now, can't, that's right off the top of my head. But but this particular Greek in his book said, Plato Symposium. Yes, Plato Symposium. Plato Symposium. They say it right there in their own book that the women, their Greek female women were only used for procreation, that their love was through the love of men. And the sex with men. Now that is in Plato's Symposium. You don't see that in Kemet nowhere. In fact, the power of the African goddess was so powerful, they saw her as the cosmos, called Nut. They saw her as the heavens, but she gave birth to the S-U-N sun. That was the macro universe. And our ancestors said we came from the micro universe, our mother's womb. That was the S-O-N sun. So the Medu Neter name for that was called Sa-Ra, son of the sun. So that's how our ancestors saw their spirituality. When Pepe VI, who's in your book, by the way, of the Old Kingdom, who said that the kingdom of heaven is between the legs of the goddess Nut, the goddess of the heaven. And Dr. Ben always made clarity for us to clearly understand it, that the kingdom of heaven was between the legs of the African woman where we all came from. That's right. When she broke that water, well, our first baptism, by the way, took place in her amniotic fluid. Not because some guy put his hands on you and said you were baptized. We were baptized in that womb for 9 months in her amniotic fluid. But it was their hatred for the female principle. It was their hatred for the goddess principle that they took that from her, because we have a lot of theories about how we came here. But from our empirical observation, one thing that we can see, that when she broke that water, she gave birth to both male and female. And that's where that baptism took place at. This is the sickness of the Western world. So they want us in a sick, decadent behavior. And this sick, decadent behavior, then we cannot open up that spiritual consciousness, that third eye, that spiritual eye, that pineal gland, that seat of that soul with the Ba and the Ka, the spirit and the soul. This is what Europeans know this. Yes. They know we are a highly spiritual people. And it's that spiritual power that's going to be on the heft, okay, that awakening. But as long as we're wandering in their decadence and their bestiality, then that awakening will not take place. So this is the reason why the homosexuality and everything else that they're pushing on our people every day, and then try to justify it by saying that it's in Africa when you cannot see that on the temples. Go to Greece, go to Rome. You can see all that homosexual behavior on their monuments everywhere.
That's right.
You don't see that in Kemet.
That's right. And you know what's so funny? I watched the documentary. Even in India, sir. Even in India. Interesting. Hello. Right. I mean,
when you look at this behavior again, that's why when I mentioned very briefly Michael Bradley's book, Prehistoric Sources of Western Man's Racism, Sexism, and Aggression, and Michael Bradley, I mean, they didn't like Michael Bradley because, he's white, given his own objectives. See, white folks don't like to have an objective view of themselves. They like to have an objective view of everybody else.
Right.
But they don't like to turn it back on them. So Michael Bradley said that their behavior, their hatred, their misogyny comes out of their caveman experience. Okay, and they saw more of the female as a problem. All right. So because he had to do the hunting and had to feed her, okay, and in fact, that's why we should use the Kemetic word Murray, because according to Michael Bradley, the term love is a caveman word, according to him, and then it came out of where he told that was a signal to the cave woman to bend over so he can have sex with her, but she was so scared of him, she didn't know she was going to get hit in the head with the club, or if he was going to have try to poke her from behind. So this is Michael Bradley talking about this. And he said that's what love came out of. That's why when you watch television, you see one scene is sex scene, and another scene is what? A violent scene.
Violent scene, right.
So you see a violent scene, sex scene, violent, because that was their behavior in Europe. Okay?
Yes, sir. I
mean, so this is there. So let's go study Europe and see where it comes out. When you go and study Africa, Africa's doing, from their empirical observation, they're not living in caves, they're not living in a harsh condition.
Yes,
we're living right there in the Sun Belt.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the African woman, the African man depended on her. Okay, she was not a burden. She was not a problem. He depended on her. Okay, agriculture has been validated going back to Kemet. Okay, for over 18,000 years. Not in Samaria, not in Mesopotamia, but right there on the banks of the Nile. Okay, so who's doing the when you terms of agriculture? Okay, brother, you're old enough to know that everybody had little gardens growing up.
Yes, sir.
My mother had a garden. My grandmother and grandfather had a whole farm. Everybody grew their food.
That's right.
That was a natural, innate nature with us to grow our own food, brother. That came out of our own genetic memory bank.
That's right.
Okay, it goes back to Africa. They're an agricultural people. You're not going to have no agriculture in Europe.
That's right.
So this homosexual behavior with the caveman, that's what he was having up there in Europe with each other.
That's right.
And then you got, because the phagocytus is becoming so rampant, you got Negroes on the down low now, so a lot of them trying to justify their little decadent behavior out there.
Yes, sir. Baba, it's 42 minutes after. I'm not going to keep you. Going to go all the way probably till the 8:50. One thing I definitely commend you for the constant work and taking people. You take people to Ethiopia, Kemet, and Uganda.
We'll be leaving Ethiopia on the 28th of December. So Ethiopia in the winter and Kemet in the summer.
Okay, but you don't go to
Education for Liberation.
You don't take people to Uganda yet, no?
I go to Uganda. I go to other places as well, and we did Ghana back in the 90s.
Okay.
And so we start picking up Ethiopia and picking up Kemet, and starting from that point. I did the Ghana for a decade, and then even though I'm an author, that's real. But keep in mind, when we go back to Ghana, Ghana is more than slave dungeons.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and unfortunately, that was an experience that we had. But we have to keep in mind that Europeans built these dungeons. They built these as they call them, slave castles. And our castles are slave dungeons.
Right.
They built this for our Ma'afa that we went through. And so so we go in educational and have educational programs. We try to deal with the whole history, not just history coming from the Ma'afa.
Yes, sir.
And Ethiopia is important because this is part of ancient Kush. This is the mother of Egypt. And there's many parts of Africa. One person can't deal with the whole of the African continent.
Yes, sir.
As I always say, if you take a mirror and put it up to your face, you can see your face. But if someone knocks that mirror on the ground, it breaks up into many pieces. If you pick up one little piece of that mirror, you only see your eye. And that's why I call it the eye in a broken glass syndrome. I don't have all the answers.
That's right.
But all of us, once we awaken to our knowledge, many of us got the knowledge. Okay, so we got to reconstruct all those millions of pieces that are there and pull ourselves back together. And we can't get into egomania.
That's right.
Okay, and all these kind of things that sometimes social media has got us into this now creating situation that's worse than what cocaine is doing. That means releasing dopamine in the brain, where we can become egotistical maniacs and think that the knowledge is only resides in one person. No, the knowledge is in all of us. But we just got to release it and open it up because we all have a piece, and we got to put those pieces together. And the pieces that I'm coming with these are very small pieces, and hopefully it'll evoke some people in the audience, and especially some young people, to see what they have to offer.
Yeah,
to start to reconstruct us as a people again. That's what the purpose should be. This should be all about.
And that's what I want to ask. So my last question to you, it will be, and then you can close out by giving your website and everything. But the question I like to ask, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, what would you like people to say of Dr. Ashra Kwesi? And in all honesty.
Well, I always said this. I always said if every black man and woman only put 5% back to the race, we'd be on our way out of this tomorrow. And I would like to say that I have definitely put almost 100% because I quit the system to do what I'm doing. And that I did take the majority of my life and time and put a majority, a percentage of my time back in giving something back to the race before I left here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At one time I was in the system and I couldn't give 100%, and I realized that I had to leave the system and become totally free. So my whole life now is dedicated to helping and doing my part. This piece is not the piece. Okay, I'm not going to be an egotistical maniac to think that what I'm offering is going to be the key to our soul liberation. No, that's not the case, but it's just a part of to help. So I would like to say that Ashra Kwesi took the majority of his life to help to do his part and to help in the liberation of our people. And I think if we just put 5% back,
yes, sir,
that we'd be on our way out. Unfortunately, the system keeps us with things to do, so we don't have time to think. That we work, they got us working 15 hours a day.
Yes,
so when a brother and sister come home, you don't have that creativity. They drain us, okay? And then now you retire at 65. I mean, how much would you have left?
That's right.
Nothing. You're drained. That's so right. Fortunately, I have been able to, we've been free since 1989.
Wow.
Out the system.
1989. Wow.
Yes, sir. Since 1989.
Wow.
I mean, so I'm a runaway. I got the disease called drapetomania. I'm a runaway slave. It's still on the books. It's mental now. So I'm a runaway.
28 years, huh? You've been doing it for 28 years, Baba. Wow. That's
Yeah, 28 years free from the system. And even when I was in the system, I was a spook.
Yes, that's right.
So even when I was in the system, I was working in the system to get free.
Right.
Okay, building the resources and building the cushion. And of course, we have that fear of becoming independent because we grew up with, our family members, we always saying you got to get a job.
Yep.
You got to get a job. Nobody says, make sure you're independent. Make sure you're an entrepreneur.
Right.
Make sure you don't work for white folks all your life. You don't hear that kind of stuff coming up in our house. In fact, my family, they look, even when you're independent, sometimes you have family members that don't look at you as being economic productive, even though you live I live a very modest life, but still I don't need money from them, but they're so brainwashed into think that you got to go to work every day.
Right.
You got to go out and work for white folks every day.
That's right. Exactly.
So fortunately, I've been able to keep myself free. And as Dr. Ben, peace be upon him, he even told me that Kwesi, make sure, he told me that back in the early 80s, when he saw what I was doing, when he saw my lectures at the first ASCAC conference back in 1985. And he was right there in the front, and that's when he saw that when he saw me repeatedly returning back to Kemet on his educational tours, and he saw that lecture in 85 at ASCAC. And he said, well, make sure you keep your tongue free. And that's when he said, he saw I was serious, and he had me working with him with the educational tours over there when he saw my presentation back in 1985 at the first ASCAC conference in Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I would like to say, that I put the majority of my life into,
this work.
helping in the liberation of our people, brother,
right. Well, give the people your website, of course, people who want to join you on those journeys to Kemet and Ethiopia, please give them your website, the number to call you, all of that. I know you'll be in town, of course, New York City, December 10th.
Looking forward to it, brother.
He'll be here at the Black Lady Theater, Black owned and operated. Black
All
Lady
right,
Theater.
that's what we need. That's what we need. Yes, my website again is Kemet New. Okay, that's Black people. That's Kemet New. Okay, that's KEMETNU.com. That's our website. And for those who are interested in our Kemet tour that we would do annually every summer. In fact, we have so many brothers and sisters coming back. We have 2 tours in the summer. We've had 2 tours for a few years now. And so you can get the brochure. You can sign up right up on our webpage there. And for Ethiopia, we're already booked for Ethiopia. We're ready to go, but we do it annually every winter. So for those who are interested in next year, we should have those 2018-19 brochures out by June. But the Kemet tour is wide open now, and people are signing up now. And Brother King Simon, we want to say to you, brother, you know, like without communiversities like what you have, brother, for education for liberation, I call this bush knowledge, because like on the plantation, we didn't teach each other how to read on master's porch. We went out to the bush.
Right.
So you're playing the major role in the education of our people, and showing that we control the syllabus, we control the information. You know, we don't have somebody telling us what to say and what not to say and scared to say. So even though peace be upon him, that's why Dr. Ben said he honored himself where he was fired 49 times because teaching our knowledge. So even though we got professors in universities, in many cases, they go through hell trying to tell our story because the school is not owned or controlled by us. But in this community and this Sunday, this is going to be our community for the liberation and education of this whole holiday and what this is all about.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you very much for accommodating. I know you're going to be doing Brother Tad's show with Straight Black Pride. And, of course, Irritated Genie is going to be in the house on Sunday.
Right. And if anybody want to know about that faggot Titus, you gotta get Straight Black Pride.
Straight Black Pride.
Irritated Genie's on top. He is the man. In fact, I can call him the master teacher in faggotology.
And although he's been risen by you, everybody has their part. You know, everybody have their part.
Well, that's what I mean by that mirror. Everybody has a piece. Yeah, and he unlocked that. You know, he. Right. You know, this is a lot of people were hiding, and right. Black men were running in the closet and peeping out the closet. And homosexuals just took over everything. You know, so you know we are Irritated Genie for coming out and definitely dealing with this issue and take the black man. The black man don't need to hide in the closet. We didn't hide in the closet back in my day.
That's right. That's right.
So now, you know, so the real black man gonna speak. He's gonna speak up. That's you know, right. I mean, now the black man's voice got to be soft. Can't even have no bass in your voice no more.
That's right.
You know, they say, oh, he's an angry black man.
Man, I tell you.
Like Malcolm said, if you ain't an angry black man in America, you're an insane black man in America.
Exactly.
with all this going on us, you know, that's for real. So that's the importance of all these communiversities.
Yes, sir.
That everybody has a piece.
Everybody.
And as long as we're teaching what we have and master it, that's where our liberation is going to come from.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Baba. And of course, I'll see you on Sunday. And I can't wait. Of course, doors open at 3 p.m. family at the Black Lady Theater. That's 750 Nostrand Avenue. The number there is 718-771-0900 between Park Place and Sterling in Brooklyn. And children are free from 17 years and younger. So I want those babies to come in and teach them. And I'm celebrating 22 years in promotion and production. Live performance by our revolutionary poet Sister Nene Ali, who's also entering the Olympics in boxing. So she's a boxer too. She knocks people out. So she does what she does as a young sister, and she's like Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter. Ready, very elegant, very nice, but she can get on them gloves and knock you out. And I think every woman should learn how to fight and do martial arts or do boxing, because women are going to have to fight if the enemy comes, just like the men have to fight. That's what Khalid used to say also. So, Baba, thank you very much, man, and enjoy your evening. Tell your beautiful empress I said greetings and love, and I can't wait to see y'all on Sunday.
And Asante Sana to you, my brother. And again, thank you for this community radio that you have now, too, brother. That's another, hey, brother, you're moving forward all the levels of education for liberation.
Thank you very much, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hotel.
All right.
That was Baba Ashra Kwesi. Of course, Ashra Kwesi will be in New York December the 10th. December the 10th at the Black Lady Theater. Make your way down. If you want to get your tickets, please get your tickets. Get your tickets now at King Simon Production. .eventbrite.com. That's kingsimonproduction.eventbrite.com. Vending, you got to text me or call me at 347-496-1022. You could also get your tickets at Black Lady Theater at 750 Nostrand Avenue, between Park Place and Sterling. I believe they open every day at 12 noon or 1 p.m. To do cleanup and all that, but they are selling tickets. Also, you can get your tickets at Nicholas Brooklyn, Nicholas Harlem. You can get it at Nicholas Brooklyn, Nicholas Harlem. Their number at Nicholas Brooklyn is 718-858-4400. That's 718-858-4400. They're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. except Tuesday. They open till 9 or 10 p.m. But on Saturday and Sunday, they're open on 12 noon all the way to like 6 p.m. And also Nicholas Harlem does the same thing. And their number is 212-289-3628. That's 212-289-3628 if you want to go to Nicholas Harlem, Nicholas Brooklyn, or the Black Lady Theater to get your tickets. I will be uploading this to YouTube, so please share this on your Facebook feed. Share it. Ashra Kwesi gave some great breakdown about Christmas and where it came from and where they stole it from and all that kind of stuff and how they created everything. He did all of that. He broke it down that it comes from African spirituality. All of the great stuff that you think that they're celebrating and creating around their European holidays, they stole it and now commercializing it. So we got to learn to understand this. We got to give the people the truth, give them the facts, and he's going to walk you into the buildings of stone, like he likes to take people on those trips to Kemet. This is his book. Make sure you get his book. This is his book. Him and his wife wrote this book. Him and his beautiful empress wrote this book, African Builders of Civilization, a pictorial history of famous personalities from ancient Egypt. So you know that they are black folks. They're not European. They are black folks. Teachers are teaching in school that Egypt is not in Africa. Just like they used to teach back in the day, like Negril was not in Jamaica. That's how they used to teach, like Negril was not in Jamaica. So, but make sure you get that book. He'll be having that book with him on Sunday, I hope. And also you can order it at his website, kemetnu.com. That's KEMETNU.com, kemetnu.com. Also, if you want to get my book, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. That's my numerology book. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. It'll also be a part of the class that I'm teaching in February, my first online class ever in history. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated by Brother King Simon, an exclusive online 4-week class on numerology. And the early bird seating or early bird rate is $149.99. That's $150. Or you can get paid a regular rate in increments and in different segments at $199.99. That's $200. So if you want to be a part of my class, I'm going to mix it up with chalkboard teaching and PowerPoint, because I like to have fun in front of the camera and teach y'all and break it down. And it will be based on this book, my book, that's selling very good on Amazon and Kindle. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated, published by Charles Childs Publication, which is Laila Africa and his wife's publication. So it is a black publisher that's doing my thing. I also publish my own book. Also, this is my children's book. This book is called Numbers Are Simple. Our children's health is important. Very good book, full color book to help educate you on how to look out for any type of sickness that might arise and how to reverse the effect, or how to go to different doctors I have in the book. Go to Dr. Sabi, Dr. Dr. Africa, Phil Valentine, all of them. Also vaccine exemptions, how to find out about vaccine exemption for your children. That's also on this page, full color. I'm telling you, it's full color. I'm telling you, full color. Greatest lie ever told, that vaccines are safe and effective. So it's in this book. Make sure you get it on Amazon and Kindle. It's not only for children, but it's for adults also, because we are all children of the Most High and the Creator, and our ancestors are watching over us. So please, please, family, make sure you come on out this Sunday, December the 10th, with Baba Ashra Kwesi. Share this. And don't forget, Our beloved elders are celebrating 53 years in love at the National Black Theater. That's Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Empress Rosalind Jeffries. Also, there's going to be a Go Raw New York tribute to Dr. Sabi is going to be happening on the 9th. Also, there's going to be African relationships with Sister Keisha Sankofa. Daydream, Alston, and brother Yomi will be in Brownsville with our brother. And big up to Garfield. What's up, Garfield? Garfield have his morning show every time. Big up to you all the time, Brethren Garfield. You just missed Ashra Kwesi, but I'll be uploading this. This will be here on my Facebook page, but you can also upload it. I'm going to upload it to my King Simon Presents page on YouTube. King Simon Present on YouTube. Big up to Garfield. Garfield, we love what y'all do. We love my brethren for years, you know, and I deal things with credit and all that, man. Got to stay out of the argument, Garfield. Forget all that religious argument. I just help the people get them credit on par, you know, get them up to par so them can travel and do them thing. You understand me? So that's how we roll. King Simon, I'm going to close out with my song Back in the Day. I know Garfield will remember this song. This is my old song called Black and White Story, Back in the Day. Have a great evening, fam, and tune in and listen, family. Uh-oh, I stopped it. Hold on, let me start it. I'm getting out of here, family. It's time for me to go. This is my old song. This one is called Black and White Story. It was number 5 on the reggae charts back in the day. I'll see y'all later. Peace. Regardless of land, labor, language, there's but one God. And as Marcus Garvey says, up you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will, family. This one is called Black and White Story by me, back in 1989, family. Listen.
Say we have to analyze it. I'm gonna tell you a little something more white history. Say how they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I like them, I telling, I fit them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. Them come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. Here we go.
I might sing this.
Black and white history, yeah.
It's black, black, black. It's white, white, white. But let we tell the story.
Yes, it's black, black, black. It's white, white, but let we tell the story. May I will tell you a little truth about the black history. The people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy. Analyze the truth about the way body. We're the first to come up with biology. To analyze the lives in the society. We're the first to come up with ethology. To construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology. To analyze the mind in the vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology. To put the rhythm in your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, with the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah. Say we have to analyze it. Black and white story in my mind. In my mind. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah. Say we have to analyze it. May I go tell you a little something about white history. Say all they condemn us throughout slavery. They say we were black and very ugly. I lie them, I tell enough of them history. Cause black is beautiful, the whole of them agree. They come out of the mountains and mix up with sea. Here we go, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. Yes, it's black, 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 it's white, white, white. But let we tell the story. May I will tell you a little truth about the black history. The people who can hear and those who can see. We're the first to come up with anatomy. To analyze the truth about the way body. We're the first to come up with biology. To analyze the life in our society. We're the first to come come up with Egyptology to construct the pyramids that you see. We're the first to come up with psychology to analyze the mind in that vicinity. We're the first to come up with musicology to put the rhythm on your soul and make it rock steady. Correction, my friends, in the black and white history. Yeah, it's not black, it's white, but let's tell the story. Yes, it's black, it's white, but let's tell the story. Black and white story in my mind. Oh yeah, say we have to analyze it.